Welcome to another episode of Initial Speed. Today, I'm going to change a bearing, wheel bearing, hub assembly on a 2014 Nissan Pathfinder. Let's check this out. So as you can see, I've already taken the wheel off. I have removed the little ring piece, the carter pin, and now it's time to crack that wheel or the axle bolt. Then after that, I'll take the caliper off, take the carrier off, take the rotor off, and then I can get to the assembly. 4 bolts in the back. I've already soaked them with WD-40. Hopefully that helps a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna need someone to come out and stand on the brake so I can use this bar with a little bit of leverage and break it loose. On a 2014 Nissan Pathfinder, the axle bolt is a 32 mil. Or a 1 1/4. Alright, so got that bolt off. That thing was huge and required my breaker bar and my jack handle bar to break it loose. So now it's just the carrier to come off, then the rotor. I'll remove those pads. The remote rotor, and then we'll have access to the hub. Carrier is off. Alright, now that that's off, now we're going to take the hub. Use leverage. Come on. Yes. Alright, so there's a speed sensor right here. I believe it's a 10 mil to pull it. And then start wailing away. Hammer it out. See, I don't know if you can see it's starting to separate. Wail away on this, pop it out, and replace it. A lot of hammering. There you go. Yeah, you can feel that there's a little bit of drag, which is probably what the noise is from. So you will bend this heat shield. What I suggest you do is just bend it back. And all is well. So now clean this out. Make sure there's no garbage in there. put a little bit of grease in there, and start pounding the new one back in. Alright, so that needs to be cleaned up. Inside there's this ring, and it was pretty badly rusted, so all I did was took a few minutes and used some fine grit wet sandpaper and clean up the inside. I'm going to clean up in here now, probably just some brake clean, wipe it down, maybe put a little bit of grease in there just so everything is lubed and hopefully a little bit easier to come out next time, a little anti-seize. It takes a lot of banging on that. Bang, 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 daddy, bang. And if you're doing it, I would suggest using a little bit of leverage if you don't have power tools. But again, you know, you pull the wheel off, jack up the car, put a stand under there for safety, pull the wheel off. I soaked all of the bolts, just, you know, every little bit helps. Then I pulled the bolts for the caliper, pulled the carrier off, then I went in the back and pulled off the speed sensor. Then I cracked all the nuts, all the bolts for the hub assembly, and then bang, bang, bang until it comes off. And now it's just the reverse. I'm just going to let the gentleman whose vehicle this is feel the difference between the old bearing and the new bearing. The old one, you have a little bit of a grit feeling and then a little bit of a pop. So I'm guessing one of the bearings is not good anymore. Regardless, the whole thing needs to be changed. So once he feels that, everything is lubed up in the... I cleaned up the inside of the housing of the knuckle, I guess you call it. And then I will slip that new one in and take my time. I will use a piece of wood and just kind of tap around the edge just to kind of walk it in instead of trying to, you know, get it cockeyed and stuck and more headaches than it's worth. And then, yeah, just put everything back together. Speed sensor, then the rotor, then the... oh, no. Speed sensor, the bolts to hold the new bearing housing in, then the rotor, then the caliper holder, the caliper, and take it for a drive and see what we see what we find, see how it is. I don't have any other advice. The only other thing I can think of is when you're taking, before or after, I guess, you could do it either time, after you remove the rotor, put the nut back on the axle and then just tap it a little bit just to kind of break the seal so it slides out easier, so you're not fighting with it once, you know, everything's apart. At least this way, you know, it's being held in place, and then, yeah, you can just tap it. The other thing I should remind you is never let the caliper hang by the brake line. That's why it's zip tied up here.
So, Phil, car questions for you.
No, so you put that back on. Too big, too small?
Yeah, it's the right side.
Now I need to look up what the proper torque spec is.
Phil, my brother, I don't even know how to thank you.
Ain't no thing but chicken wing. It's the way it goes, man. Help each other out, because the world's not helping us.
That's right. That's it, bro. That's it. That's it. Turning lane.
All right, I think we fixed the problem. Just be mindful of the dust shield. I think I bent it, so we're getting a little bit of a scratchy noise, but the car's running smooth and no problems. So mission accomplished. So as per usual, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and if you did, subscribe, like, share, do all that YouTube stuff. Talk to you later. Initial Speed out.